Okay, welcome to One Stop Co-op. This is Steve. I'm here with Mike, who just stepped away for a real quick second. I'm sure he'll be back. So, we are here. This is our weekly chat about cooperative content
There you
and
go.
whatever you guys want to discuss. But
Thanks,
it
buddy.
is the
Appreciate it.
the last Saturday of the month. So, we are going to talk about Kickstarters and crowdfunding stuff. So, here we go.
All right.
Of course, I have to have Mike on when we talk about crowdfunding stuff because he has his fingers on the pulse, I feel like.
Well, I got my fingers on somebody's pulse. Maybe it's my own.
Maybe true.
Hey,
How many days?
buddy, I'm about to record. You go. Thanks,
Sorry, Dad, I can't get pain.
buddy. Can you take the switch and go upstairs? Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Okay, that's fine.
So we are going to be covering the upcoming games. Let's talk about that. Oh, Snow is giving me crap, by the way. Here I
Yeah.
thought Mike was invisible. Disappointing. Nice. Oh, nice. Yes. Nope. Nope. No half face Mike today either. It's full face
I
Mike.
mean, I can hide
There you
some
go.
type of way.
All right, let's jump into the chat because I know we got a lot of stuff we can talk about. Let's talk about the upcoming games. First one I want to talk about is Keep the Heroes Out.
Yeah,
So
that's the only one I don't know anything about. So, what is that, Steve?
it's kind of like a reverse dungeon crawl where you are playing as the dungeon lord essentially, and
Oh,
the
okay.
heroes are coming in, and you're trying to stop them from stealing your hard-earned loot. So, hey, good morning, Ryan. Thanks for here. Thanks for joining us. And
That reminds me of Colin did a video of this recently, and then they had like a kind of Japanese-inspired version coming out. You know what I'm talking about? It's like dice-driven. Maybe somebody in the chat can say it's like a dungeon crawler, but you're the bad guys. Like you're vampires and werewolves and stuff, and you're trying to like get the heroes, the villagers. Oh, village attacks. Village attacks.
yeah. Yep.
Sorry, took me a while to get there.
No, yeah, I love it when they do fun themes like this, and this one's got the something about like those custom meeples. I love that stuff. I don't know why. So,
Yeah, we'll be hearing about more of those for some of these other ones.
oh yeah, sure. So yeah, this one don't know a whole lot about it yet. I'm actually really excited about it personally because I don't know something about it looks fun. So, but that is coming out Tuesday.
Oh,
So just like everything else, right?
yeah. Actually, I think one of these is Thursday, so that's good at least just
Oh,
to
is it?
change it up.
Let's jump to another one, which I think we've all played on the channel. Is Tales from the Red Dragon Inn.
Yeah, that one, unless they lied to me, is supposed to be launching Thursday.
Okay.
So hopefully that's true.
Oh, that's true. So this one is based off the Red Dragon Inn IP, intellectual property, I guess, the theme.
Yep.
Big old dungeon crawl, and this one's cool because it has that a book, right? So
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a linear campaign, and I've played through 3 of the scenarios, and I think I might also have that available on TTS at some point during the campaign. Although, don't quote me on that if I'm wrong. Uh, and yeah, I think it's over 30 scenarios. They said, I think so. It's a ton of content, but kind of like Jaws of the Lion, kind of like Stuffed Fables or Agrimony that we're going to talk about a little bit later. Yeah, you have like a spread for every stage, and that's all you need. And they even have all the monster statistics and special powers and activation, like AI activations, on the side. So it's very streamlined and kind of getting you into a given dungeon and like playing a given scenario.
yeah, this one looks really cool. This one's gonna be a big one too. From what I'm talking to with the publisher, they said they had a lot of stuff like lined up for it. So we'll see. We'll see what happens when it launches.
Yeah, and we actually already have a video if anybody wants to watch on the stream channel.
Mm-hmm.
It's of the most complicated scenario they sent us. It's actually like because the kind of tutorial is the first 2 scenarios, and then they sent us one that's like the 10th scenario or something. So it's got way more stuff going on. And then for the actual launch on Thursday, we'll have on the non-streaming channel a playthrough of the 2nd scenario, which is way more. It's not as complicated if the first video kind of intimidates you.
I'm not sure which one I did on this channel. I know it wasn't the first one, but it was an early one for sure. I don't know if that's
Yeah,
the
so
same one.
so first one's in the basement with like a beer robot. Se- yeah, it's goofy. Like they're definitely going for humor. Second one is fighting a bunch of slimes and acid pits.
Mhm.
And then the final one, which again is like kind of more mid campaign, is you're trying to defend a beer festival from attacking bandits.
Oh
I
yeah, yeah,
think.
I remember that one. Yep, yep, cool, cool. We'll look for that one coming up pretty soon here.
Yes.
And I know we got a little poll going, so this one was also voted on. People are kind of interested in, and now it's a Voidfall.
Yep. So I've not played it yet. Everything's a little bit of a whirlwind, but I was just on a call with David Turksey and Mark Dainty from Not Board Gaming yesterday. He walked us through the rules. So this is a mind clash, famous for Anachrony, Cerebria, Tricarion, Perseverance. So there's sorry, not Anachrony. This is Mind Clash, but it's a competitive or cooperative or solo. So like full focus on solo and cooperative. Space 4X, kind of akin to Eclipse. So they definitely said they were somewhat inspired by Eclipse. So yeah, so I've got all the rules. I'm actually doing a co-op playthrough with Turksey for the launch on Tuesday. So fingers crossed that we can defeat the aliens. But from what I've seen so far, the basic kind of idea of the gameplay, not to get into details too much at all, you have a bunch of different cards that give you different types of actions, and each turn you play one and you do two of the actions. And it's as simple as that. Except, of course, it's not as simple as that because there's 8 billion icons, and you'll see how well I do with that. But like, once you learn all the cards, it seems like it'll be pretty straightforward. But it's very much a 4X. The only one that's not really there is exploration.
Mm-hmm.
It's just very basic tiles laid out, but you're definitely building up your civilization. You're definitely having a lot of extermination and fighting, and the cooperation seems good. You can help each other out, and you're all trying to work together to defeat like this kind of shared alien horde. So I think the only 4X that's co-op that I've played is what's it called? Do you remember, Steve? It's like the fantasy themed one. I did a video for it. I think it starts with a U.
Oh,
My brain is
Uprising.
Yeah, Uprising. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I love. I mean, give us more cooperative 4Xs. I'll play those all day.
Oh yeah, I love that as well. I love any type of civilization game like that. I'm a sucker for
Yeah.
that. I played what was it, the Civ New Dawn has a solo
Yeah.
mode, and so I played that cooperative because we just had two bots, so it was like 2v2, and that worked pretty fun
Yep.
co-op as well. So yeah, I love all that stuff. So
Yeah.
also,
And this one. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
some interesting comment. She says it's probably a huge game. Says the tiles are more than palm sized. I don't know if that's true.
I mean, I would not know. I just play it on TTS, but they certainly are fitting a lot of things on the tiles, so which would make me think yes. The nice thing is they have different co-op scenarios, and the first one, especially for solo and 2-player, which is the two setups I've seen, doesn't have too many tiles. So I think later scenarios might expand things out, but the first one looks like even with big tiles, it should fit pretty well. And I was going to say, Steve, I think you'll probably like this one better than Uprising. Uprising didn't have as much focus on the civilization building, and it's a lot about combat with dice. This one is deterministic combat, and it's much more focused on like building up your empire and like kind of upgrading and technologies. So I think they'll hit different people kind of with preferences.
Yeah, I mean, this coming week, all three of these games, I'm actually pretty interested in all of them. These are all like
That's a
great
problem,
hits.
Steve. That's a problem.
I know. My wallet is not gonna like me, so so yeah, I have to do some more digging each of these, figure which ones I'm gonna back, and then figure out how to manage with the budget. But yeah, it's a good week for games.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely in for Red Dragon. I'll have to see Keep the Heroes out, and then Voidfall. Once I play it, I'll have a better idea. But I like Mind Clash, so we'll see.
Oh yeah. I've been. I actually was working on my own like variant for Eclipse, which I have behind me someplace. Actually, for here. To
Oh, like
play.
a co-op variant?
Yeah, to play co-op. Yeah. So
That's awesome.
Voidfall's definitely down the path I'm looking for. So
Yep.
cool. So that's all the upcoming stuff. Let's talk about the past games this month. So we've got a huge list. You're on the chat. You guys have things, any of these past games this month you want to talk about? We'll pull them up and chat about. But real quick, let me look at. I'm curious what the poll was so far. Let's end the poll real quick. So I'm curious. You guys are just straight down the middle here on your what game you're most looking forward to. So that's cool.
Let's do it all. We'll do it all.
So, okay, let's jump to literally, people vote for everyone equally. So that makes sense. Okay, let's just start going alphabetical order. I think for this one.
Sure.
And let's go ahead and start with Agimonia.
Yeah. Done a lot of coverage on this one.
Yeah, I think someone on this stream is very excited for this one.
Yeah, I mean it's quickly jumped to one of my top Kickstarters. So yeah, if you don't know, this is a 1 to 4 player cooperative campaign game. It's a linear campaign. It's kind of adventure and kind of dungeon crawler. Like some of the scenarios get more into like the details of dungeon crawler, but sometimes you're just like wandering around and having adventures. It's got kind of an old school, like choose your own adventure, kind of lone wolf or fighting fantasy aesthetic to the art. The story is really good. I think I really like the resource management of stamina, combat, and enemy AI. I think it's an AI that you would enjoy, Steve. It's like pretty deterministic, but still a little bit of randomization. But you can see what random choice they make at the beginning of the turn and adjust if you get initiative before them. And initiative tends to go in a certain order, so you can make choices to try to like jump ahead of the enemies if you need to. So I really like this one. Like this, there's been so many of these narrative adventure games, and I'm not saying this is going to be better for everyone, but for me, it hit like so many of my preferences. So yes, Agrimony is awesome.
I really liked how the story unfolded in that, and how like it wasn't always combat driven when you're in the scenario you're doing, right? There's other things that are going on, and a wide breadth of things you can do during that scenario. So
but I think every scenario I've played so far had an optional achievement for like not killing anything, which would be very tough in some of them, but just like the idea that they're like, hey, try this out for like replay value. I think that's pretty cool.
Definitely. Benno's giving you a hard time there, Mike. So it sounds like what Mike wishes Gloomhaven was. So.
Well, I love Gloomhaven. Gloomhaven is a billion times more tactical than this game, and like the class variety is a billion times better. I get different things from this one. Like the Gloomhaven story, that is not a selling point for anybody I know. You know what I mean? Like the sense of discovery in Gloomhaven. Oh, we opened this door, and there are also enemies. Yay! You know, like I don't know.
Right.
Jaws of the Lion was better for that. They had some nice kind of scenario variety. But yes, there are things I come to Gloomhaven for, and those are not them.
Yeah, I feel like what I've seen of Agimonia so far, the scenarios are pretty varied so far.
Yeah. I mean, I've only played the 3, and then we might do a 4th one for our Extra Life stream, because they do have like a 4th one that's kind of deeper into this campaign. But I've even opened that one up on TTS, and it looks, I mean, I think they're doing a really cool job of getting the story to be unique like each time.
Absolutely. Yeah, that one looks really good. Let's change games to talk about, and we'll talk about another one that also looks very good. Artisans of Splendid Vale.
Yeah, can I say I am 100% for the adventure book revolution, man. Like yes. I didn't love everything about like Stuffed Fables and Comanauts and Aftermath. Like each of those had some issues, but each of them were really cool. But now we have those. We have Jaws of the Lion. We have Agimonia. We have this. Like, give me every game without. I don't know, Steve. Like Iridia was good. Iridia did a good job, but so many of these are just like hunting for generic tiles that all look the dang same. I could not care less. I mean, at that point, I'd rather just have Ultra Quest, right? Just have a stupid generic board that does it all anyway. But yeah, like when you have unique art, there's another adventure game in a art book. When you have like unique art on every page and like unique things going on every page, and I don't have to hunt for it, I just turn the page of a book. Yes, please. But sorry, I cut you off, Steve. Go ahead.
No. I mean, this is one point I think we completely agree on. Like, I'm a huge fan of what was called V Command. It's not called V Sabotage. Because the board setup, like the map tiles doesn't matter. It's like 3 sizes, and then on one side's outside, the other side's inside. It's stupid simple to set up, super fast. Like it's awesome. I love that. I hate hunting for tiles. And so like the book in these books they can do that, but also still have unique environments. Like, that's the one downside to like something where it's more generic for Alta Quest or like V Sabotage, right? It's a little bit harder to have something like pull you in with that art generally, unless you hunt for that stuff, right? Or add something else to it. But yeah, these books, trim the page, you're done, right? Just put stuff on the board, you're good to go. Love it.
Well, and even compare it, like, it's not like Jaws of a Lion had a ton of unique like art on the booklet, but even there, like, it would still looked better than the basic Gloomhaven tiles. I got so mad when they were like, find this one, because I was like, no, I'm finding the first one that is in that shape. Don't tell me to find the blue one over the yellow one. Why do I care? You know, so I would get like furious for no good reason.
Yep.
So yes, but anyway, the actual game, I personally, now this is very much personal. I know there's a lot of fights about miniatures versus standees. I tend to fall a little bit on the standee side because of full art. But I think anyone, well, maybe not anyone, but I think a lot of people can agree, screen printed, gorgeous, like I'm looking at the Kickstarter page right now, screen printed, gorgeous wooden like meeples with full art that just look awesome. Like, I don't know, this is great. I got no complaints from a miniature or standee standpoint.
Yeah.
For these, they just look freaking adorable, man. Look at the crocodile. Look at the cat with wings. Come on now, a cat with wings. Go buy this game.
Yeah, no, I'm a big sucker. I bought a Meeple Source, is a company out there that does a lot of the screen printed custom meeples, and I've over the years bought quite a few things from them. I love that stuff. But yeah, Snow mentioned a couple of things I want to mention. Say here, says it's not really solo friendly. Because you need at least 2 characters, and with the 2 books, it might be a bit much. I think she's trying to say there, which is interesting. Yeah, I haven't played this one. Have you played this one on Artisans?
No. I reached out, but it was a little bit late. Like, I didn't literally until Hannah mentioned it in our Discord. I'd never heard of it.
Right.
So I reached out to Renegade on like Friday, and that's yesterday, Thursday maybe. And they were like, we might have a prototype for you, or we might have a review copy for you, or we might have nothing for you. So we'll see. If I'll probably be in for a buck, and then when I hear from them, I will. This is one I always look out for adventure games I can play with my kids. And now that this one looks like childlike, like, buddy, I'm literally recording right now.
Look how good.
Hey, speaking of my children, here's my child. See, now you're on the internet. Run away, buddy. Be embarrassed. Buddy, don't show me Plants vs. Zombies. I'm trying to do a thing.
Okay, Dad.
I love you. But yes, so see, so that they stop playing DS, I want to have nice adventure games to play with them, like Artisans of the Split Veil.
right. Perfect tie-in.
Yes. But no, yeah. So this is one that if they don't send me a review copy, I'll be buying this too. Even though it's way too many adventure games, I don't care. I like them.
They all look great, so I love it. Yeah, this one looks awesome. Yeah, other people say on the chat are also saying they love screen printed meeples as well. So
yeah, it makes me think of this is not a cooperative solo game, but oh my God, why can I not think of game names today? I just woke up right before the stream because I suck. For anyone who's wondering, help me out, Steve. What's the one with like it's like Shadows of the Colossus? Little like foxes or something are climbing over like a giant dude. When it's card driven.
I don't know which.
Well, the chat will know. We can move on, but somebody say Root? The dumb game I'm trying to think of.
That's what Brian says. Root. I don't think so.
No, it's not Root. It's like one player plays a Colossus kind of thing. There's a variety of them, and he's trying to smash all of the little like meeples, but they're all giant, nice meeples.
Skull Hollow?
Yep, there we go. Thank you, Skull Hollow.
Snow for the save.
Yeah, I figured it would be her. Thank you. Jesus. All right, let's move on.
Cool. Another one which just ended recently is Dungeons of Infinity.
I just got to play this Thursday night.
Oh, nice.
With somebody involved in the game.
What'd you think?
It's okay. It's a dungeon crawler and not one that like excites me. But cool thing is it's procedurally generated, so you're gonna have a different dungeon every time, and they have different scenarios. That was actually my biggest problem with the game. It's the procedural generation can make things swing very hard either way, which I know some people are gonna love. Like, it's hilarious in a way if the boss comes out on the third turn, you know what I mean? But,
right.
But it could also be unbalanced. But the thing is, I know Colin loved the pre-generated story-driven scenarios way more,
Correct.
and I didn't get to play that. So I think that's probably the best look for the game, especially solo. But all I got to play was the kind of randomly generated thing. But that being said, I thought the combat was good. I thought the action system was good. I think the variety in heroes is good. So there's a better game there than what I got to play last night. I played kind of the goofier version of the game, I want to say, where anything can happen. Did you get a chance to play this one, Steve? I know you were looking at it a while ago.
No, I didn't get a chance to play it yet. I looked into this pretty hard because I'm not. I like dungeon crawls, but I don't need every single one of them, and I like the idea of a replayable dungeon crawl, something like procedural generate like this. So that tickles my funny bone. And I love the new update and artwork they're doing for this game.
Yes.
It's just phenomenal. Actually.
Well, and just the fact, so for those who don't know, the people who did Isovarian Guard, which Steve, of course, is super fan of, and I'm very excited about too, they got this one, or they're working with the original designer because they were not the first publisher. And they're doing a lot because I know Colin and a lot of people had issues with the rules because the designer basically had like a learn to play and then like a glossary of terms, but no rule book,
right.
In the traditional sense. So I know that the Isofarian Guard group is doing a great job, and actually someone in our Discord, Clint, he's the one who taught me on Thursday, he's like actively working with the rule book. So anyone who had trouble with the first printing, it looks like the second printing should be better looking and way easier to play than what everyone else had to deal with.
Yep. Yeah. No. This one looks awesome. So, yeah. I'm not sure if this one that I'm supporting it, but I'm not sure what exactly I'm going to do about it yet. So we'll see. But yeah.
I mean, I'm definitely not backing this one just because I don't back many crawlers. You'll notice all the games I'm excited about are adventure games.
And I think that's where I'm lying too. Like I'm okay with like a couple of dungeon crawlers, but then I something about the adventure games, and specifically, I'm finding out that open world nature like that is really grabs me. So
yeah, I'm mixed on the open world. Like I did like Galzier. And I know Artisans is they're calling it a sandbox. I'm assuming that's somewhat open world.
Yep.
But usually, like even Earthborn Rangers, I liked a lot because it was pretty focused. Like you can do a scenario and just go wherever you want, but like usually the scenario will like push you into certain places. So that tends to be my, it's kind of like deck construction. Yeah. Just hand it to me, man. I don't want to do
it. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I'm finding out that that's one that I think we do differ on, where I like the open world and like, ooh, I'm gonna go over here. I know we're supposed to be doing this thing over here, but I'll get to you eventually. We'll go have some fun and explore. So, but cool. Okay, so Dungeon Infinity. Let's keep going. I think we'll, judging by time, we can only got a few left. Let's jump to one that you've played.
I played several of these.
Spill. Yeah, you have.
The Spill. I think that's about to be done too, right? Let me check that.
I think
it's done today or done in a couple of weeks. You have it in front of you, you said?
Yeah, I'm looking at the screen right now. Yeah, it finished already. So. Oh,
they already finished. Okay. Yep. Well then, I mean, not that I didn't say this before, but I didn't like this game very much. I thought it was okay. It's very much a Pandemic game, which is not my style anymore. I love Pandemic once upon a time. At this point, I've definitely, I won't say grown, because I don't think it's like there are better types of games and worse games, but my changing and like transformation as a gamer, I don't really like games that are repetitive in like their function. It's just like putting out fires until like you achieve some kind of victory condition. But I will give the designers a lot of credit for this one. So this is a like 1 to 4 player Pandemic style oil spill. You're trying to rescue animals and clean up oil, which I definitely appreciate the theme. But it's sorry, I was giving them credit. I will give them a lot of credit for consistently developing. Even like in my video, I was like, hey, this part sucks. And then they were like, we have changed this part. And in the exact way I wanted them to. Like they had these sort of action cards that you could use, like when you had bonuses. And some of them were better than others. And you could just spam the same one over and over again. So I was like, why don't you just get rid of it after you use it? And they were like, hey, I got an idea. why don't we get rid of it after we use it? And I was like, good idea. so that's in there now. And they're doing other things. Like they're adding more victory conditions. They're adding more variety game to game.
Good.
So the game that you all get for those who back it might be way better than the game I got. And already it's just not to my taste. So, when I say I don't like it, I don't mean that it's bad. But yes, I'm glad some people are going to enjoy this one. And I'm glad they're going to have a better version by the end, I think.
And I really like this idea of the using the modified dice tower idea.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
My kids love that. Like, great toy factor. My kids were all about it. So yeah, you've got this dice tower and you drop D6s that are the oil, and they shoot out one of the four sides, and that's like where the oil falls. And I don't know. I thought that was great. Like I had no problem with any of that.
Yeah, I do like the pandemic type stuff, putting out fires. This one definitely interests me, but like, there's so many good games coming out, and it's just hard to I've got a budget. Let's put it that way. So
yes. I did not go for this one, as you can imagine, but right. I know a lot of people did, so I'm glad it did well.
All right, let's keep moving. Let's talk about one that I played a long time ago. One Deck Galaxy. Have you played this one, Mike?
I mean, so funny. Yes, I played it. I did a video for it for the Kickstarter.
Oh,
that was supposed to start like a year and a half ago, and then my video just sort of sits there. And people are like messaging me now because it's back on Kickstarter. But like it's a different game, I'm sure, than what I played. And they're like, "Hey, so what do you think about this role?" And I'm like, "Dude, don't watch this video. Just I love the views, but please go watch something else because this is an artifact of another time, man. This does not even apply anymore." But yes, I mean it's based on One Deck Dungeon. It's a similar kind of dice placement system. If it's like the game I played, then it's like you're kind of building up your empire and you're actually like leveling up like your technologies and stuff. Fully cooperative. So I enjoyed it, but yeah, I mean I don't know. The guy was supposed to send me an updated version, but we didn't talk for like 6 months, and I totally forgot about it. So I certainly didn't follow up. I'll take responsibility for that. So I don't know if it's good. I'm assuming so. I know that I think his name's Chris. I know he had some like health issues there for a while. So there are good reasons for why it was delayed. And he was trying to make the game better.
Right.
Kind of like with like movies and stuff. I will never mind if you delay your project to make it better. I hate when things are rushed out. So I hope it's an awesome version. I would have pledged what was there. So assuming that it's improved, yeah. How about you, Steve? How long ago did you play it?
Oh, it was a couple of years, I think. Honestly.
Yeah, you might have played the same version I did.
It might have been, yeah. I played it at Gen Con. I sat at a table and played this one. It was a big old demo, and it was some really cool concepts in it. But like I said, like it's been so long. I'm like you said, I'm assuming things changed. So it's hard for me to really talk about this with confidence. But I will say that what I did play, it's got a really good system in there, and it seemed like it would be really, really fun. So
yeah, definitely. I promise. I'll check out the new page at some point because I'm planning to black it. I'm planning to back it. Yeah, if I hear more, I'll be in the Discord like chatting about it.
Cool. Okay, let's see. We've got let's jump to a couple other games. Let's talk about one that probably would have flown underneath the radar for a few. I know Snow's on our chat. She was interested in this one, and The Light in the Mist.
Yeah, tarot puzzle game.
Mm-hmm.
This actually sounds up my wife's alley. She loves tarot decks and like nice art. What do you think about this one?
Okay, I got to ask you a question because this is something that I wasn't aware of until we talked about. I think it was like last week about tarot decks. Like I didn't know that tarot decks could be like a normal like 52 card deck or whatever, and you could also have the fortune telling version. I always thought it was always the fortune telling version.
Well, yeah, because you've got the. Oh gosh, I'm going to talk out of my butt, and I'm going to be wrong. So feel free to correct me, YouTube. But I believe you've got the minor arcana, which are the staves and the coins, and like you can sub those in for spades, clubs, hearts, and horseshoes, and red balloons. Those are not the. That was a joke, by the way. I know those are not the actual suits for a deck of cards. And then you've got the major arcana, which are, I think it's like 13, like that's like the Tower and Death and the Fool, like the cards that you often kind of see associated with tarot readings and in games that have tarot. Those usually the ones that get kind of thrown in the major arcana. Mm-hmm. So minor arcana, you can straight up play as no problem as a regular 52 card deck. But anyway, this is cool. I mean, I think one of the most important things for tarot is the art. And
Mm-hmm.
even though there are puzzles on these, I think that would be the biggest challenge, right? How do I get a puzzle on the card, but it
Right.
still looks nice when I want to just use it as a tarot deck?
Right.
And at least from what I'm seeing, I think they accomplished that. Like, it's still fascinating and
Mm-hmm.
evocative and pretty. How much is this? Do you know, Steve? Are you on the page?
Yeah, I'm on it right now. It looks like it is 32.
All right. I mean,
Yeah, 32.
it's a little expensive for a tarot deck, but not crazily so. Oh, and shipping is not bad.
Yeah.
Looks like it's $40 with shipping. So, I mean, my wife has bought tarot decks for more than $40. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
the fact that this one has a game with it is cool.
yeah, tarot decks are pretty expensive. That's why I never actually wound up buying one, even though I was interested in them. But yeah, this is. I like the thought that you've got a kind of a one-off puzzle, you solve it, and normally when you're done, you just hand it off to someone else. But in this case, you have a deck of cards. You can use it for
Yeah.
whatever you need to. That's really cool. I like that idea.
No, I mean, absolutely.
I think my only hesitation here is I'm finding out as I play more and more stuff. I don't think the escape room type genre is one that particularly excites me. I enjoy them when I play them, but it's not like my style game. I don't think.
I remember you said that. So everyone else, a little peek behind the curtain. We got we often get like little things like fill out this form for a review copy of X. And Lucky Duck is coming out with a game they didn't make. I don't know what it's called, but it's a series of games from another company, and they're kind of escape room-ish. And usually for many of these things, I'll be like, hey, who wants to cover it? Because I don't want it to always be me. and yeah, Steve was like, I don't want to do escape rooms. And I was like, what? Steve, what happened? Because I think we let Steve borrow a bunch of like Peter's unlock games. And
Yep.
But yeah, I remain all about anything that is escape room or like riddle-ish. I love that stuff, especially because my kids die for that stuff. Like, man, anytime I can borrow an unlock from Peter or a Deckscape and not Exit because it's cut up and ruined. You suck, Exit. You're the worst of the worst. Nobody likes you. Everyone likes you, but I don't like you. But yes, besides that, love those things.
Snow mentioned compared to other tarot decks on Kickstarter, this is cheap. So
yes.
That's a good point.
No, like I said, the price might seem high if you don't know tarot decks that much, but it's definitely comparable or better than a lot of them.
Cool. Let's see. Ooh, Ben was asking you a question. Mike, have you done Detective?
Yep. So I've done 2 games that are called Detective. I've done Detective City of Angels. That's my preferred one. That's Van Ryder games. That can be played competitive or cooperatively. What I do is I do both. I'll play through a case either cooperatively or solo, and then I will play as the chisel, it's called, the kind of game master, and turn around and play it with other groups competitively. I love that game. That's got the whole I like the 1920s film noir vibe, and it's all about that. Detective, the original one is from, I mean, I guess they're all from Portal. I played through the original one. I played through the 1980s, kind of like a side expansion. I like that a little bit less, even though it's really cool to have the real world involved, where like you have to Google stuff to like solve cases and stuff. Like, I think that's a great idea. I don't find it fun in practice. And we famously talked about this. I know a lot of people have complained about this, but I don't like the flavor text in a lot of cases.
Sure.
They'll have like 20,000 paragraphs on coffee drinking. Is I think the main victim of people's complaints with that one. But I know most people are the opposite. Like they would like. Well, I think a lot of people like City of Angels, but most people love Detective. I just found it okay. I'd still play it, but it's not my favorite. Like, I'd rather play Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective or Detective City of Angels before I would play another detective one. Although I do, Steve, I know you were into this one too. The Dune one. I love Dune. I'm like a big, I've read almost all of the Dune books. I've seen the the silly movie with Sting like 50 times. That was like one of my favorite movies as a child. So I'm all about the detective game set in Dune. I will play the heck out of that.
I see Nick has joined our chat, and I have a story with him because I think it was my first play with Detective actually was at Gen Con playing with Nick, which was an awesome experience. We played it wasn't one of those scenarios in the box. It was like their promotional one.
Right.
Yeah. Gen Con a few years ago. Yeah, Nick. And I had an awesome time with it. I love that play. It was great. And so, like, I think for me, those games, I love the puzzles are really fun. Don't get me wrong. I love puzzles.
Sure.
Wherever I can find them. But like the story, how it's wrapped itself around and how it's presented matters a lot to me for that stuff. So
yeah, what I think I'd still say Unlock is probably the best for that.
yeah,
even that can be kind of hit or miss, but I think that tends to have the most cohesive, like I'm actually doing stuff in a little world,
yeah, we enjoyed that. We had, I mean, we had fun with all of them. We did that one, constant crime type stuff too.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
we all
Chronicles.
enjoyed them. I don't think those are games that neither my wife or I are like, hey, if it's on the shelf, we won't pull off and play it. Like,
Yeah,
we'll
yeah,
pick
yeah.
other stuff. So
Yeah, it helps that my wife and both kids love them. So
oh yeah,
even
absolutely.
if I didn't, I'd still probably be playing them all the time.
Cool. So that was Light in the Dark. We only have two others. We'll get them real quick, I guess. We'll finish this list. This one is one of many, apparently, Masters of the Universe games coming out. He-Man. So this is the one by Simon.
Yep.
So it looks cool if you like a skirmish game with this, but I think you just have to be really into the IP at this point. Because this one...
Well, and also, I mean, I don't know if
Right.
much has changed because we did not discuss it much on Discord after like that first week.
Mhm.
But in the first week, it seemed they were keeping the co-op very close to the chest.
Yeah.
And it really is not clear how much is actually there. Like at one
Right.
point, they were only talking about like one co-op scenario and only like the least interesting, kind of most dumbed down scenario being co-op. So I know a lot of people are backing this in our Discord, but I feel like if you're not into the competitive experience, or you just really want some He-Man miniatures, I guess, or a giant, a Castle Grayskull Bigotr.
Yes.
I think besides that, I don't know if you would be in for this one because I don't see the co-op and solo being the focus at all, which is fine. It doesn't need to be, as long as that's clear. And I think it's pretty clear that's the case in this game.
Yeah, I think this is one of those games where it is you can sub it in to make it cooperative, right? It is like very because it's interesting. They advertise it as being cooperative out of the gates, but then when the Kickstarter launched, it was not.
They were
clear.
like,
Yeah, exactly. It's like, wait, is this co-op? Is it not? I don't really know. So, but I think it's because each character in the game is double-sided card. So one side is if a player is controlling it, the other side is if it's AI controlled. And so I assume that if this scenario that doesn't support it, you can just flip it over to AI and it will work to some extent. I don't know, just a guess. But
I mean, I
yeah.
know Jason Perez got a chance to play it with I think Jesse from Quackalope, but I don't know if he played co-op. In either case, he said it was a total dice fest, and I sometimes like dice fest, but I don't want dice fest with a tacked on cooperative mode. Like that.
Right.
That's too many potential strikes against the game.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It's with the IP. I mean, I'm not super big in IP. It's a fun IP, but like this one was definitely a pass for me. But I'm sure a lot of people, if you love the IP, this one would be an easy back for sure.
Sure.
All right, the last one to talk about, and this one you did play, and this is a Three Tail.
Yep, and this has relaunched, which I'm happy of because it's doing better already. They were able to create a kind of like a separate buy-in that was cheaper, that like was lacking some of the bells and whistles of the main one. But this is another adventure game, but very different than the other ones. It is much more, like I would say mechanical, almost like a bit more Euro in its focus, because you are like building out this map in the past phase. They have the past and the future, and trying to level up your characters. And then you have several future scenarios, and you kind of have a hint of which ones you might be dealing with in the past. So you try to level yourselves up enough to succeed at the scenario. So fully cooperative, 1 to 3 players, although they don't recommend 2 because then you have to have like one person controlling a character or 2 characters, or you have to split control. I didn't love it. I've had a lot of these. I've had some very meh Kickstarters that I've done recently, and I always feel bad. I'm like, well, somebody will like this, but I don't love it. But a lot of what I didn't love was like balance and sameness, and it sounds like they're still working on the balance. That might be fine. I don't know. I like the past. I like leveling my characters up, but I feel like I'm going to probably level them up the same every time. And that's fine for a lot of people. And I don't know. I don't mind in Valor and Villainy. I kind of level up the same way in Valor and Villainy every time, but that game is a gosh darn hoot. Every single play, you're like 15 plays later just on TTS. I still want to play that one. So I don't know what the difference is. But Three Tails leveling up did not excite me as much, unfortunately.
I think that's an interesting point you bring up, not to just derail too much from Three Tails, but like Valid Villainy is also one that I love too. Like something about that game, it's checking our boxes for both of us, the two of us for sure.
Yeah,
But,
like the characters aren't that different.
Mhm.
You do the same dang thing every time.
Yeah.
Just moving around, exploring the dungeon. You're fighting mostly the same monsters. You're getting the same spells a lot of the time. It's the same
loot's
thing,
different.
and I play it over and over, and I love it every time. And I just bought the old Valor Ability, and I like that too. I'm like, what is up with this game? Why is it in my head like this? But sorry,
it's great. It's fun.
I totally cut you off. Steve. I'm sorry.
No. I'm there too with you. It's something about that game is really fun. But like when I see that game and it's recent in my mind, and I look at other games, I think everyone does it too. I have a strong desire to compare it to something like retail, to Dungeons and Infinity. Like Valor Villainy is really awesome. Am I going to play this over these other games? Maybe I won't. I don't know. But if I feel like I would, then I tend to not back those games. I pursue those other games, right? So it's just a natural Jones theory, I guess, that gets thrown around.
Yeah. So. And I'm actually facing that right now, just to, again, go off tangent again. But hey, Three Tail, cool game. But yeah, going away from that, I just got a game called Senjutsu that's coming to Kickstarter in October. And it's you can play competitive or 1v2 solo. So you got to be outnumbered in solo, which I think is awesome. And I played last night. It's a ton of fun. It's like a card play, like skirmish battler game, but only with samurai. It's cool. But yeah, like I'm trying to figure out how do I review it without mentioning Exceed and BattleCon, which have in some ways similar mechanics, and are some of like my top games of all time. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I got to find the right way to thread the needle to be like this game, and it is fun. Like I like this game. I'm probably going to get this game. But at the same time, can I be like, hey, but there's other games already that I think do this better, you know? And like,
right.
I don't know. It's a challenge. I think that happens with like dungeon crawlers too. Like when we have so many games coming out, and even things that used to be niche are not as niche anymore. Now we have like 50 of those. You know, it's like, oh, there's only one sports game. Now there's 100 sports games, and it's just interesting, like to nail down how much you want to talk about the older versions of a similar game, you know, when you're reviewing a new one. What's fair?
We did have a question aimed at both of us from Benno. And so he asked, what are your thoughts on multimodal games? I think he's talking about solo, competitive, and cooperative all in one box, right? You want to start real quick with that?
Yeah. I'm not as hesitant with some of those, you know, like I know a lot of people hear that and they immediately assume a lot of them are bad. I'm not so hesitant because I'm so frequently designing solo variants that I think work great for games, and I'm not a full-on solo designer clearly. So ones who are, I think can do really great stuff with that. So I fully recognize that some of my favorite games, Root, Exceed, BattleCon, like a lot of these games were at some point 100% competitive, and now either through like my work or somebody else's great work, they are now solo or they are now co-op, and they're still some of my favorite games of all time. So I don't see it as a strike against the games automatically. And yeah, I have other things to say, but let me let you get some words in first, Steve.
Yeah, I think in the past when I saw that, I was very hesitant because I feel like it was kind of a marketing term to capture people's attention, capture a bigger base, but I think there are ways, like now I want to see it, it doesn't bother me at all. Like, in fact, it maybe even be an interest because I have some idea of how it may work. And this ties back into the CMON game, the Masters of the Universe, where if there's a game where it's set for competitive, we get different players or actions or heroes or whatever it is, and they can be played as either player controlled or AI controlled. Well, guess what? Is very easy to flex between competitive, solo, and cooperative, right? For solo, you just flip one over, and then you play against one AI. And if you want to do co-op, then you've got two people versus two AIs, right? And you got more team based that way. And it's very easy to flex between those. And I think those types of games work really well for that label. My biggest hesitation around it is when the competitive experience and the cooperative or solo experience vary dramatically between them. Like, I want that to be pretty close to the same. I don't mind if it changes. I just want to be fairly close to the same.
Yeah, and what I'll add is, and this is very much my personal taste, but I think the biggest ones that are red flags for me are when the competitive experience, when you have to like cut out a ton of the stuff that makes a competitive experience interesting. Yeah. Like, I don't want to play a hidden trader game as a solo co-op variant. Like we had that with Dead of Winter, and it was like Dead of Interest and Life of Boredom, because it was so the co-op scenarios were so terrible. Where was the tension? Zero tension. They didn't have the Crossroads cards. Like it was like a Crossroads game, but not if you're playing co-op. It's like what are you doing, Dead of Winter? No offense, Dead of Winter as a competitive game. I'm just talking about like when they tried to throw in this half-butted, I won't say ASS on this channel, half-butted co-op variant. That was terrible. And then a big one for me. I talk a lot about like a lot of the Euros I review. I can give them a good review, respecting them for what they do, but I don't keep them. And that's because, and this is something I've kind of figured out as time has gone on, for me, competitive Euros, kind of like a hidden trader game, it's all about the variety brought by my opponents.
Right.
The variety in the game is not from like the different factions. Sometimes it is, but in most Euros, the variety is not in like the stuff that's going on from like your different player powers. The variety is what my opponents do. So Euros where it's multiplayer solitaire, or Euros where I have a solo mode against an Automa, and the Automa is very predictable or kind of does the same thing every time, immediately lose my interest, because why? You've cut out the heart of the game for me. So that's why one reason I tend to be kind of down on these solo Euros, that I'm trying to actively cover them a little bit less. So sorry, everybody, if you love seeing those on the channel. I don't enjoy them. You know what I mean? Like I do this for fun. We're not making that much money.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm going to try not to cover ones that I like actively think this will also bore me like most of them do.
Absolutely. So Nick has an interesting question asking us, do you think there are many games where all modes are equally good? And what are those examples?
Bullet. I know Nick likes that one. I love Bullet competitive. Bullet with a heart after it, by the way.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's a great example. Yeah, that plays.
And that's one to kind of talk about what you said, Steve. It does change the mode some when you're fighting the boss, because there are additional mechanics added on. But this is what I appreciate, and I think what you were saying. It has the exact same stuff that you are doing.
Right.
The cool puzzle of your turn is identical. They just add on some extra stuff to consider for the boss, which I tend to enjoy that more.
Absolutely.
But what's another one, Steve? Let's see if you can think of some.
I was struggling with one. So you do all three of them. One of them that a good competitive and solo. I've never tried a co-op. I can maybe try to figure out is Lewis and Clark. This one.
Oh, okay.
Just because you do the same thing as you do in the competitive version, but the AI is just stupid, simple, easy to do. But there's no real good co-op on that. I'm trying to think of what games I have that.
Yeah, see, I don't have my shelf behind me, so I can just look at a wall and think about that. Here we go. I'm looking at this nice wall. White Door is a fabulous game for co-op and competitive. Everyone should get it.
Mars: Historic Civilization. That game.
That was bad for every player mode.
Yeah, that had every mode in it. I don't know. Yeah, I gotta play that one some more. I've got that on the shelf still. So I think the problem is I buy a lot of co-ops at this point, so I don't have a lot that span it. So it's hard to think of examples of it. But
well, and the problem for me is all the games I'm thinking of are solo or competitive, which is kind of cheating because they're just doing like a competitive mode, but you're the only real player.
Right.
I'm trying to think of ones that are co-op and competitive that are great. And
some of them, people just play them with one mode anyway. Like Marvel Legendary, like technically it is competitive or semi-cooperative. I wouldn't say it.
We don't talk about that semi-co-op.
I know. Everyone plays like, co-op, so
it's like Defenders of the Realm. Like, get out of here, Champion of the Realm.
Yeah, exactly. No, pretty much everyone plays just co-op, so like whatever. So like those I don't count towards that. Yeah. But I don't know. I have to think about that. That's a good question, Nick. That might be a good another talking point to bring up an example. Maybe next week I could figure out that. Cool. We've been doing this for like an hour. It's gone a lot longer than I expected, but some good chats in here, so I appreciate that. So, but I think we'll probably end it for this week. Any closing thoughts, Mike?
I need to have breakfast.
And you have breakfast. We'll let you go. We'll have some breakfast then. Cool. Well, thanks everyone for joining, and I think the next stream is probably going to be another thing of Street Masters on Monday, so if you guys want to check that out. But
by the way, I do want to mention, because I don't know if I'll be on the stream at that point. Another upcoming Kickstarter. Y'all have to check it out if you are like me and like puzzle games, cooperative puzzle games, akin to Hanabi, for example. what is it called? It's coming up
Roses
October
one?
12th.
The
Paint
Roses?
the Roses.
Yeah, that
Paint
looks
the
cool.
Roses. Dude, I could not get this off my table. Everyone I played it with my hardcore gaming group. They liked it. I played it with my kids. They liked it. I brought it to like my mom's house. We played it. They liked it. This game is hot fire, man. I love this game. Sorry.
No. I was reading the about the game when it first popped up, and it looks really good. It looks fun. I'm so glad to hear you say that. So
yeah. So we'll have a video, but just in case in case we have several streams before I get on again, that's one of my. It's a silly puzzle game, and it's one of my most anticipated Kickstarters of the year. So
awesome.
Yes.
Cool. Sounds good. Well, thanks everyone for joining, and we'll see you at the next stop.
Bye.
Bye-bye.